Right, today is Christmas, and this is the vibe of Christmas. I can see the marabou stock, a few birds kind of also taking advantage to have their last meal for the day, and I see these crows and this Frisian cow which has chosen to also feast there. Very interesting. So I always tell Uganda is abundant of food that even cows are eating from leftovers of food. Anyway, right now I'm inside Makerere and I'm exiting. I thought I should go outside the boundaries of Makerere and show you how the city is looking like on this day of Christmas. It's a beautiful day and it's a calm sky, bright, and I thank God that it hasn't rained. So I think Christ is also trying to make the day as pleasant as possible. Anyway, let's go. By the way, this is not to mean that this is the day Christ was born, but it's just a day we choose to celebrate his birth. And of course, I don't think anyone was keeping birth dates on the day Christ was born. But if he wanted to, he would have, because I mean, he's an all-knowing God. But imagine he chose such a time. And this is actually Kenya's favorite food, the sukuma wiki. I do not know who chose to plant them. In English, I think it's called kale, but that's it for now. So, if you're new here, by the way, hit the subscribe button. Actually, I didn't expect people movement, but I already see people moving in the distance. Probably some are from church, gauging by the level of sparkness. Because inside Makerere, actually, there is a St. Francis Church, and they tend to hold service for guys that are from Arua. People look smart. Kind of this reminds me of these days when I was a child and people would dress up for Christmas. But alright, welcome back. And this is the kiKumi-kikumi area, the residential and food hub for campus students who are not around today. And I'm actually surprised to see people moving around here. In my mind, I thought I'd find very empty streets. Anyway, this is the Wandegeya street. More like Muganza is someone who is like favored. Wandegeya, I think, receives gifts. Yeah, it's a beautiful stretch. And as usual, I love to give you a bit of histories of these roads. Now, Makerere University has a perimeter wall, but this actually cropped up very recently when it was about to clock 100 years. I think in 2017, that's when under the leadership of Dr. Tango Doi, the convocation lobbied for a perimeter wall because these walls used to be porous. And it actually marks the boundary between the formal establishment, that is for education, Makerere University, and the informal enterprise of kiKumi-kikumi. Actually, most of these stores are closed. I think there's nothing really happening around here. And I believe I'm going to slope in the distance. And even this surface was tarmacked just recently. By recently, I mean like 6 years or so ago, by the then executive director of Kampala, Jennifer Musisi. This was basically a potholed Maram Road, which when it rained, barely students would move around. Someone has chosen to jog on Christmas. Interesting. I guess there's no reason not to be fit, even if it is Christmas. And that is the dedication of a sportsman. I kind of hope I had such resilience. Anyway, in case you're wondering, this road continues into the distance to meet Sapporo Kagwa Road perpendicularly. I think about 1.5 kilometers. I decided to take this footpath. I hardly see many people, so that means truly neighborhoods are kind of desolate. I think the reason is because a good number have gone into the villages, and if you see over the distance, those are the suburbs of Mulago, basically Jamaica or something like that. I don't know even how they came to name it Jamaica. Probably if you had a lot of wannabe musicians who we're trying out reggae, and as we all know, reggae originates from Jamaica, so probably that's one of the reasons I might think could be. Anyway, let's slope and see what Kampala is looking like on this day of Christmas. Oh, the sun has decided to increase. By the way, it's actually 5:30 p.m. Look at the sun in the skyline. I hope it does you justice and you're able to actually see it. This building actually belongs to Great Lakes Safari. I don't know. Okay, it's called Great Lakes House. I kind of just assume it belongs to Great Lakes Safaris. I see construction ongoing. I do not know whether it's going to be a hostel. It is strange that even on Christmas someone is looking for a dime. Yet I think it's a day they should have rested. Today they should have rested. As you may have noticed, a lot of establishments are rested. Oh, I see rivers here, so probably it's part of this primary school being built. And this is a bit of a courtship industry, cottage industry, actually not courtship. They kind of make sofa sets, and that's how the frame looks like, in case you wonder, to give it some form. I keep wondering what the durability on this furniture is. I think this one is going to be scrapped for a frame, or probably someone has brought it for renovation. Anyway, and I think it doesn't stop a lot of them staying around and hunting for business. But we are actually now joining Bombo Road. Someone is already having liquor in celebration of Christmas, which is a bit weird because the Bible kind of doesn't really encourage it as a prudent thing. Now we have reached this intersection between Bombo Road. This is basically Bombo Road into the distance, and that is the traffic light junction where it meets in the distance. I think it's called Binaisa Road, and Binaisa was one of the presidents of Kampala, of Uganda in the years. You haven't respected the lights despite it basically being empty. I'm crossing from the wrong spot because I simply want to show you this interesting intersection, which today surprisingly is empty. It's after 5 p.m. I think this is because of Christmas. Now, in case you're wondering, this is the route that goes to Gayaza and then maybe not northern Uganda, central Uganda, because of Kayunga and all that. So that's the traffic around here. But for now, let's take a walk onto Binaisa Road. And this magnificent structure, if you've been around enough, is the synagogue church of all nations. If you know of Pastor Kakande Ministries. The truck has respected the lights. Uganda is always fun. If there's no policemen to watch, then at times they choose not to. Look at that beautiful Ugandan sunset. That is basically the West Aruna, the tower. I think Aruna is a brother to Hemis Kigundi, Hash petrol station. But this Binaisa Road actually moves into the distance, and if you look closely, you will see Mulago Hospital, at least a new wing in the distance, which was recently renovated. It's not that it is new, but it came after the old one. Alright, let me find my way. We're crossing the road. And I leave you to the streets. So this is the streets of Kampala on this day of Christmas, and we are now on Binaisa Road. More of the synagogue church of all nations. The gentleman is called Prophet Kakande, and I think if you've been in Africa in the recent past, I like the Christmas decoration in the inside. It's a magnificent building. It has facelifted this place to almost a posh neighborhood. Back then it was basically slummy, and that was a point where people would get some spring water. And yeah, I bet people who never bought here now wish they did buy. It is quiet. I think their Christmas service has long gotten done. But let me walk you through. My hope is that we'll take you through the slum of Katanga and then out onto Wandegeya traffic light junction. Maybe these places could be dry because I'm outside the city center, and I consider Wandegeya the beginning of the city center, basically, because it's I think just about 1 kilometer into the city center, if not 1.5. So Binaisa Road is looking like that. Alright, tell me about Binaisa Road and who it is in the comment section below. If I think you know your history of Uganda before I actually tell you what I know about Binaisa Road. Uganda is actually a very interesting place. This is actually washing bay, and yeah, I think cars need to be cleaned on this day too. And besides on Christmas, I guess also people get to charge a bit of higher prices, so it's a day to make some last minute buck more than usual. Alright, now that you've already commented in the comment section, let me tell you about Binaisa. He actually lived from 1920 to 2010, so he saw a good 90 years, almost hitting a century. But he was a pivotal figure in the history of Uganda. He served as Uganda's 5th president, and that was between June 1979 and May 1980. Barely a year. But it was actually a turbulent period as the ousting of Idi Amin had just happened. He was a highly respected lawyer and a Queen's Counsel. I don't know whether that was the title during those days, but he spent many years in exile in the United States during Milton Obote's regime, because Milton Obote succeeded him. You'll be surprised that he is often remembered for his sharp wit and legal mind. After he was ousted from the presidency, he famously returned to Uganda years later and lived as the only former president under the state's care until his death. So I believe President Museveni hasn't done badly. Oh, this is an interesting junction. So that is the tarmac that goes into Jamaica, Mulago Slum, and this is Mulago Hospital. That's the mortuary entrance, the new Mulago building. And this road actually stretches to meet the junction at which Haji Musa Kasule Road, coming from Makerere. Ah, wow! Look at how beautiful Makerere Hill is, and that's the university for you. A lot of lush green trees. Very interesting place to be. And I was telling you about how it meets Haji Musa Kasule Road in the distance that comes from the entrance of Makerere University and meets Kira Road. So that's Mulago new building, and we are still on Binaisa Road. I would have taken this route, but I want to brave it and move through Katanga, because I'm very certain that the people of Katanga, majority may have not gone to the villages by virtue of the fact of their little income. And so when you find yourself in Uganda, please visit Uganda. Lovely trees, and you'll see mostly motorcycle riders moving, because today a lot of public cars are not running, and it's mostly people who are trying to probably take around the few people who have remained around town. And if you look at it, even private cars are very few. It's actually a weekday, in case you guys are wondering. today is actually a Thursday, so it's a super weekday. So 5 p.m. would normally be a time when working class people are leaving from work. Washing beds. I think this is a happening joint, so probably at night we'll see some action as people come to enjoy and loosen up. All right. Anyway, let me also take this opportunity to wish you guys a Merry Christmas. Yes, I know some places have just started, probably the United States. It's early in the morning. People like Japan, I think, are concluding the Christmas. This looks like a shopping center, but some of these lands, I think someone just puts up something by virtue of the land not having proper ownership. Is this a newly added structure? I see huge glass windows. I hope doesn't make it like an oven, seeing that the sun is looking straight into the inside, the microwave effect. More people, I suppose, returning from church. Yeah, so I am giving you the city the way it is. And I've not really been to Katanga around this time, but I believe I'll figure out a way. And in case you see this video, but I don't know why slums have been thought of to be dangerous areas. I feel like, I think people just imagine that it should be by virtue of people having low income. And it's always assumed that low income is associated with theft. This dog, what it is up to, no one knows. So Mulago Hospital is actually also huge in its own right, and I think that's St. Luke Chapel, bordering Mulago, and actually behind it there must be a mosque. So there's a tendency of churches being around mosques, and I think it's just normal, because if human medicine fails, then faith is another option to try out. Anyway, now I'm going to branch off right here, or from around somewhere here. And yeah, so I think I should pass through here. In the distance is a traffic light, so that will meet Golf Course Road. So anyway, let me take a detour through the slum. No problem. This is roughly the boundary, so maybe you may not see a lot of action here. No. So let me walk through, and I think it is actually very hard to walk where there is people. And there's action. People are celebrating early in life, so it's a great day. But yeah, I see human activity here, because most of these people are actually home. But I think this is their main street, and the slum is not as horrible, because I'm actually speaking through my phone, and these are children playing hardcore. I think someone expects to make some construction. Yeah, so this is Katanga for you. It's a beautiful place to be, and I see some chicken free ranging over the years. The place has been being reached out by a lot of groups that sort of help. So anyway, shops. I think this could be the main street of the slum. It may not be movie library or local translations, but let's go. Plastic recycling. I'm actually happy that this is happening within the slum. So let me take this route, and you can see the kind of place they stay in. The channel is surprisingly not smelling. I think the people actually do some cleaning to it. This kind of reminds me of those days when Naguru Go Down slum was trying by its own right to get better. So now I'm just simply going to follow where everyone is passing to get my way through. So this is Christmas, and by the way, if you ever find yourself able, please do visit these people and support them. They have actual needs, but they're generally chilled people, and they are kind of celebrating, which is very interesting. A pub. Yeah, so this is life in Katanga. It's actually beautiful, but people are actually surprisingly chill. So if you really walk and are peaceful, I don't think you'll find any trouble. Anyway, I'm navigating through, I'm carrying a bag, and so contrary to, this is actually a movie cinema, I think. In the evening people are going to catch up with a movie. And I see they have improvised stairs that help them cross these areas. So now I'm going to just simply navigate through the alley so you can see how congested the structure is. And I don't know what their needs are, because but I guess you can also see from the video, kids are just playing about, and they have a good immunity, surprisingly. Okay. I'm looking for a way to exit and end up in Makerere. Like about the earth embankment, kind of helps with the rain. And this is interesting. I think the wood is being eroded away. Very decent people, in fact. Here are some shoes being sold, food stuff. So if you're new here, please do hit the subscribe button. And right now I'm in the Katanga slum, just between Mulago Hill and Makerere Hill. Sorry. So if you're new here, help me and hit the subscribe button. And by the way, it is a blessing to live in Uganda. So a lot of these people chose not to go to the villages, just because probably they may not have the transport and so on. And I'm kind of glad that sorry, someone just, if you've ever had them, talking of someone having lost a child, and I'm just following this gentleman, and my hope is that there is a road through, and that's how you actually navigate slums. Yeah, I think it is safe as long as you behave yourself. And now I'm exiting it, and in the distance you can now see the more organized student residences starting to show up, high-rise structure. So most of the slums are actually being reclaimed lately. The sun shines everywhere, indeed. It's beautiful. And I think now we've reached the student hub, the JB hostels, and this is Nkizi Road. I don't know who Nkizi is. Yeah, so now a lot of high-rise. So if you find streets that are tarmacked, you'll also find better looking businesses. So you guys can look at the contrast. Where the sun is, that's Makerere University, and then we rotate pan right to Katanga, and then Mulago in the distance. I've used that route, so let me take this route actually to take you back to Wandegeya as we meet Bombo Road. Let's move in the distance. I think mechanics have to stay around car garages, and then food stuff selling joints. So chips and chicken will be a lot of campusers who are dating their favorite meals. Most of the ladies, chapati, eggs, and the Rolex. Let's say eggs rolled in a chapati. Just in the distance, that's one of the stalls preparing it. Mechanics will say not to have Christmas, but I think in the evening they will go to spend some of that money, probably in the pubs. Yeah, so that's where I'm from. That's the Katanga slum. You've seen it from the side and now from the inside. And more student-related businesses, probably hostels, basically residences for students, because the topmost floors usually are not very good for business other than just making money. How Joe Motorcycles is the person, has he bought for his family businesses, or is he a trader? Yep. I can hear noise in there, and children like noise, so I think some have already started partying. Dakota, is that the name of the building? I suppose residences, and then the ground rooms become shops. Yep, Uganda is actually full of beautiful ladies. One that I see in the distance, and interesting how they played with wood to try to finish up the top floor of that structure. And Kinsey Road, it's also going to meet Haji Musa Kasule Road. Anyway, I'm going to turn right and then join Bombo Road before I head to Wandegeya. So here we are, and these are mostly boutiques. I see a silver lining, but now this time it's golden lining, as the sun kind of makes that cloud interesting. I hope you guys are able to see it. I don't know the name of this building, but it's one of the high-rise structures that started cropping up in Wandegeya, at least in my time, and it's interesting. Ryan Hotel. Oh, I don't know if it's in any way related to Ryan Hostels. All right. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button. We are officially in Wandegeya, heading to the Wandegeya traffic light, and this road is going to meet the Bombo Road, which is actually a highway that takes you to northern Uganda, one of the first radio roads that originated from the city. And that's Equity Bank. I don't know why they chose that building. So in the distance, you'll meet that junction, the traffic light junction that I showed you earlier. Okay, and then in this direction we head into the city center, basically City Square. So little action around here. Yeah, that shows you that Christmas indeed keeps people at home. And those who are moving have to move provided they, as you started, first pharmacy. Of course, for them, they have to work. Of course, sickness knows no day. And they are relatively organized and have long superseded other small pharmacies that used to litter the entire street here. And I think the main advantage is the ability to deliver the drugs, which is intuitive, because if someone is sick, they are most likely incapacitated. Yep, and many pharmacies are borrowing a lift. But yeah, the college it looks like an old Indian infrastructure. I wouldn't be surprised if it is over 50 years old, because a lot of the early post-colonial or even during colonial time business buildings were mostly operated by Indian supermarkets. That one has been around, I think, over now 10 years. And we go right here. I see restaurant, Nyongeza restaurant. Nyongeza is like that extra portion they add you for free upon buying. Interesting. But I see also Dream Restaurant having squeezed itself here. They began by sharing food to students and gradually have upscaled to now own a shop on the street. And in the distance is the junction between Bombo Road and Haji Musa Kasule Road. And beyond those lights, you'll find yourself in the city center. And this is Haji Musa Kasule Mall. Just came here recently. I think I told you that Haji Musa Kasule was a prominent businessman and a big contributor in post-colonial Uganda, having also been the vice president of the Football Association in his time. In fact, the road we are going to meet, one day you guys are still cooking food, chicken. I think chicken will be something for today, because being a special day, someone will have to eat. So the Rolex is there. At least I have hope that today, if I find food, I will be able to eat today. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go home, and I just want to take you to this junction. I always love it because it makes me happy to just show it to you. I have a feeling that there was a time this was actually a roundabout, and then eventually converted to a signal junction, as most of Ugandan streets have been evolving. Roundabouts being replaced by lights. So I think let me stand here. And what you see right there is Wandegeya Police Division headquarters. And this is Haji Musa Kasule Road going on to meet Kira Road. And where they meet is the entrance to Mulago National Hospital. Let me pan Haji Musa Kasule Road still, meeting Hill Road, where Makerere University main gate is. And Bombo Road leading to Bombo. And this is it coming from town. And just as it bends and disappears is YMCA. It used to offer diploma and certificate courses, now degree courses. Anyway, Wandegeya Junction for you. Let me head into the distance and join onto Junju Road. Okay. And yeah, there's a little semblance of life within the city. All right. Yeah, of course, when you're walking in Kampala, try to beware of blights. And then let me just walk through here. These are shops, and they are closed, I think, because they really do not expect people around. Maybe there's a reason for the shoe guy to open up, because as people are moving around town, they remember they need a shoe to gift a friend, or perhaps replace their broken one as they move around on Christmas Day. Anyway, it's my delight to have you here. And this is Wandegeya Market, North Wing. I think I've mentioned it to you before. And here mostly there are chicken points, because chips and chicken are the item for Ugandans that are dirty. And it originated from here. So you find that even establishments like Chicken Tonight, which is now all over the country, started from here. Okay. I just want to go and peep if the gentleman from whom I normally buy my Rolex, you see here being prepared, is around today, because I like his formulation. So in a way, I'll people party. In a way, I'll eat 2 Rolexes and then call it a day. A lot of people kind of party, but let's go and join Junju Road. I have just walked behind what would be Haji Musa Kasule Road. This bond always intrigues me. Last time I saw some cars that are saying they are for sale, while others didn't have signs. So I don't know whether those that don't have signs are sold off, or they are simply parking here, or they have been held for long. So now I'm going to cross, because I want to show you this Wandegeya Mosque. I like how they built it. Yeah, more of the perimeter wall of Makerere University. So I have a feeling that I've shown you a bit of how the city looks like, because having shown you Wandegeya, it can show you how much more may be inside the city. But if you should wish, I shall also walk you to the city, seeing that it's not yet 6 p.m. Yep, Wandegeya Mosque right there. And if any one of you here is aware of the story of Wandegeya Mosque, it will be great. So it will be great, very great. Comment in the comment section below to let me know. So tell me about the Wandegeya Mosque. Well, it's most being told I didn't say Wonder Girl. I said Wandegeya Mosque. Actually, it's one of the most iconic, historical, really significant places of worship in Kampala. And like many mosques in Uganda that fall under the Central Muslim Supreme Council, Wandegeya Mosque is famous for being managed by the Wandegeya African Muslim community. They have a long history of independence. Very, very interesting. So anyway, we are on Jinji Road, and that takes you to the University Hall, small gate. It's a foot gate, it's for cars. Now, because this mosque is located in a bustling student and market hub, the mosque is basically surrounded by the Wandegeya famous TV chicken. And back then they used to fry them in TV looking stuff, which is a bit interesting. I don't know whether you knew that history about the Wandegeya Mosque. Right. Anyway, I do not know. By the way, which year do you think it was established? I think it is not officially known when, but I think, let me just give you a bit of the roots of this. The mosque's origins are sort of like tied to the Wandegeya African Muslim community. Historical records mention the first Ugandan pilgrims were flagged off for Mecca from Wandegeya as early as 1922. This suggests that by the 1920s, the mosque was already a central hub for the Muslim population. So let me just talk about Haji Musa Kasule era. Basically, the mosque's growth and prominence are heavily credited to Haji Musa Kasule. Basically, he was a very wealthy and influential Muslim landowner and businessman, a figure in the 1940s and 50s, and much of the land development in the part of Wandegeya, including the roads around, due to his family legacy. Anyway, in the 1960s and 70s, there was significant transformation and the facelift in the mid 2000s, and yeah, it has a unique history, which is a bit relatively informal in terms of documentation. So you'll not find so much. That's what I'm saying. If you know much about it, please do let me know in the comment section. So my aim was to figure out if my Rolex joint was operational, and if so, would be glad to buy from them. So let's get there. Okay, and in getting there, I'm going to just cross through here to sort of make it a bit easy for me to pass. And anyway, actually, it's very interesting that if you are calm and composed, it's very easy to find yourself around the Kampala alleys. And you guys have seen me pass here a couple of times, and people are actually chilling and making life. They're making liquid soap, chicken, and yep, it kind of feels like I'm passing through someone's alley, but this reminds me of Indian or mixed Indian heritage. We're partly closed this area, which is great. I think it's a private street, but it is public in a certain way. We're back onto Jinji Road. If this guys were operation, I would have eaten food from here. The famous Fredo eating place. A lot of campusers should know it. Now, near the University Hall small gate, to its left, just after the red thing, is where I would have bought the Rolex. Unfortunately, it is not operating, so I'll have to find a way of now getting what to eat from somewhere else. So see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Ciao.